Is Anthony Fantano racist? Welcome back, Team HNK, to another video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe before we get started. Is Anthony Fantano racist? Now look, I personally don't think so. Okay, I think he may have had a bad moment, basically, where he said some things he probably shouldn't have. We're gonna look at a video of him apologizing for the things he said. It's a real quick one. But I don't think that he deep down himself has a hatred for black people or anything like that. I think he's just saying some things. Maybe he's making jokes, you know, what you would consider toxic masculinity, or, you know, just shooting shit with the boys, or, you know, him saying or quoting what Ian Idub said. I think that he's not really, I don't think he's actually racist. I just find it hard to believe, right? He's had a black wife. I just think, like, and maybe there is that there. I know that there's like this. There's like this movement for it would be like white people or white guys generally dating black females to like take advantage of them. I think that's like a thing that was like portrayed, but I don't think that is the case at all, because who would waste that much? Like, who would waste time, you know, with their partner for that? Like, I just don't see it that way. I could be wrong, but I think people just in general don't like Anthony Fantano. And I don't think it's anything remotely under the impression that, you know, he himself is this evil plot like he's not this devious guy. But I think that over time, whether you want to talk about the Kendrick versus Drake beef, you know, other takes that he's had on other people's music, people have generally not liked his takes, especially on his music, right? Where he's rating it a light one, a decent one, right? Or whatever he does on his ratings. This is created a sort of hysteria for him, where he's had to partake in all these different beefs over the years, because he's been on YouTube for a while. He's definitely an OG YouTuber. Looking at some of his videos, though, we're going to look at his taking accountability video, where he says that, you know, it was all a misunderstanding. So let's see.
Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and in case you haven't noticed, I'm getting torn apart on Twitter, which is nothing new for me personally, but the discourse seems to have reached a fever pitch that's making a lot of people concerned and angry, and even thinking I'm covertly a racist, bigoted person. Now, these are the same sorts of allegations that I have fought against and won before, and I'm happy to do it again because I have nothing to hide and I know they're not true. I don't want to waste anyone's time, so let's just get straight into it. With Exhibit A, this clip right here, which has just been going absolutely viral, and here's my explanation for it. Early on in my YouTube career, I had some pretty lax views when it came to quoting the language of others, and my point of view was, what does it matter? It's not me saying it. I'm relaying a lyric or a sentiment or a point of view expressed by someone else. I'm even embarrassed to say that I don't think it was until like a few years ago that I actually changed and censored the text of this 2014 Death Grips review title. And as you can see in the comments of this video, there's even a lot of discourse and jokes flying around about me not saying the title. And at the time, this sort of thing left me feeling like this is more or less a moral gray area. I extended this attitude into other pieces of content I've made, like this one, where it is also clear I am quoting someone even in the tightly edited state this clip has been presented in. And the reason I'm doing so is to voice disagreement with calling people racial and homophobic slurs as a bit, which is what the original content creator I was quoting was doing. And he himself has since apologized for this whole era of his career, but I'm not getting deeper into the weeds than that because this video isn't about him.
Okay, right off the bat, I think he's slightly deflecting here, if I'm being honest. Now, we know that Fantano, in some way, in some aspect, has had or has been a prominent figure in the hip-hop community, which we all know is created by black people or a majority black audience, or at least fandom. With that being said, over the years, he's definitely cultivated a bunch of haters, and his sort of virtuous opinion on Twitter, or whether you want to say through videos and content that he's put out, people are not that big of a fan of what he does, okay? I believe that Fantano may have just said things bad in the past, and I don't think this is something that is out of the ordinary from creators, honestly, in general. But something like this does kind of give you, I guess, a sneak peek or a tail into what they could be like. But it just, for me, the cards aren't adding up. I mean, he's had a black wife, and I know that's not an excuse, but he's also done many projects, and I'm sure he has black friends. I'm sure he has friends or people who enjoys company or enjoys projects, art from the black people. I don't know. I just don't see him as a evil, vile racist, right? And he's also more left-leaning, which is pretty accepting, you know, whether that be LGBTQ plus or any of the, you know, ostracized general minorities on the left that they try to target, right? The left tries to bring minorities to a higher standard on average. But, you know, I think Fantano just kind of had bad things he said in the past. I generally think that's what it is, right? Because if he had like a continuum of constantly being evil and racist, then I could see this being what it is. I think what it is, though, this actual attack on Fantano is more so the fact that people just don't like him in general, whether you want to say he has a bunch of haters, right? And it's more so just the constant bickering on Twitter or opinions he's had on other prominent figures like a Drake, like Kendrick, like other figures in politics or other companies. People are just kind of tired of Fantano, right? And also his review of music, right? They just don't like his, you know, him saying like, oh, XQC, you know, your opinion on this music is bad, etc., right? So that's kind of where this is stemming from, where he's getting an uproar of hate because people just generally don't like Fantano in general. And this is a moment where they get to see, you know, that hole poked in between the facility that is Fantano. So I don't think he's a racist, honestly. Now it is kind of fucked up what he said, but most of it was quoted things. I don't think he was attacking anyone generally. And I think the laughing with Trayvon Martin, he's with a group of friends where he's kind of like just laughing just because they're all laughing, or, you know, they're all just trying to be funny, right? They're doing a show, I guess. And honestly, it is fucked up. I'm not excusing it to be like, oh, it's okay that he was laughing at Trayvon Martin's death, which is just not okay. But I do think generally that he himself is not a hateful person. That's what I think. I don't think he's a hateful person. I think over the years, he's cultivated haters from his own personal opinions, and there he's had to be on the back foot fighting the haters. And that is what we're at right now, right? So let's continue.
Because the fact of the matter is, I should have and could have just censored myself while pointing this behavior out. But unfortunately, my position left me feeling kind of nonchalant, because it's not the words themselves, but the sentiment of them that's being expressed that's truly disgusting. And sure, while that is true on some level, explicitly quoting him was in bad form and just unnecessary. I would have still gotten my point across and done so without upsetting anybody had I taken that approach. And I feel this way now because of an important realization I only made after tons and tons of people were watching me, that I don't make content just for me, I do it for an audience. And I can't dictate what anyone watching may or may not find harmful or offensive. No more than with a review, I can dictate what music you do or don't like. So I would rather err on the side of caution and not hurt anyone by explicitly voicing language that doesn't exist in a vacuum, even if I am quoting it. And that's actually been my approach for a very long time now. I mean, this clip may be new to you, but it's actually almost 10 years old. If this was ever something I made a regular habit of doing, believe me, you'd be seeing more examples than this. All I can do is take ownership of having quoted these words in this way, and obviously say that I'm sorry, which I am in fact sorry about this. Now, there are going to be some people watching this video who will say, no, that's not enough. I know you're a racist. I saw a clip of you laughing at Trayvon Martin's death, which I guess this is the clip.
Vegan invited me to an event that taught me about PETA's buying guide slash neoliberal whiteness and Trayvon Martin. Okay.
Dude, fuck Trayvon. I was thinking Trey Melvin. I had a big thing with Trey Melvin.
Which I will agree, that doesn't look good. But believe it or not, the way this clip has been presented is a lie, and it's been heavily edited too. First off, I gotta say the drama.
I remember Trey Melvin back in the day. You guys remember Trey Melvin? I remember his videos, his watermelon videos. Those are pretty good back in the day. Look, I don't think he's an evil person. I just it's not convincing enough. You can't convince me in terms of being an actual what you consider a bigot racist. I think Fantano's Jewish. Also, I think he's Italian as well. I don't know particularly, but I think that's kind of where his roots are from, or Spanish a little bit. I don't know. But generally, I don't know if we can consider that actual bigot racism, where he's proactively acting as an activist in you know, Klan meetings. This right here is just kind of an example of, I think, bringing up old dirt that's happened. I think this is old stuff. You know, you said this happened a decade ago. I mean, we're bringing up old decade clips. And this was a moment that was brought forth by academics, right? Academics has a prior beef with Fantano, and he's using this as a get back, right? Because of the Drake stuff and all the slander on the timeline of each other. And I guess they just don't like each other in general because of that. But honestly, sure, he's probably said some bad things back in the day, 100%. Probably not the best things, and they are racist comments, 100%. They're also insensitive, but I think that this isn't a disingenuous apology in what people are trying to reply. You know, you look at the comments and they're all saying, oh, this is disingenuous, you're deflecting, and in some cases he slightly is, but I think that he took full accountability that yes, this is things that he did. And I think that he did do something that was wrong, but it's way, way, way in the past. Way, way, way in the past. Also, most of the things, like one of the things, he's just quoting someone, right? So some of the stuff he's just quoting, and he's not like attacking black. If he was attacking black people, like, well, shit, right? And it's just so old, right? It's just so like 10 years ago. I don't know if I can hold that to the same stature, right? 10 years ago, like Hulk Hogan, for example. Hulk Hogan was saying things as an agitative example of racism. If you guys know Hulk Hogan's old lore of what he was saying, his stuff way 10 times worse, because he was attacking, right? Like he was actively attacking. That was the problem with Hulk Hogan. For Fantano, his one is kind of just quoting things or just saying like things are just disingenuous. And he's been in hip hop culture for a while, so I just don't see him like having this racist bone in his body. Maybe he does, but to me, I just don't see it. I don't think anyone really cares about skin color that much. I mean, maybe people do. If they do, then sure, but whatever, right? I can't force everyone to be not retarded. Okay? Regardless, that's really it, okay? He said some bad things back in the past. I don't think he's a racist. I think people just kind of want to get back at him because of all the things he said in the past. And this is just a bone that they can pick, right? This is a little petty beef that they can stir up. And it is what it is, right? He's been on the internet for a while. I mean, what are you going to expect, right? So, with that being said, Team HNK, that's going to wrap us up for today. All my huggers and kissers out there. We're at 1,000 subscribers. Trying to keep going up. Make sure you press the subscribe button. Make sure you like the video. Comment down below your thoughts on the situation. And I will see you guys when you're older. Peace.